The 1400s were an age of turmoil. Castles rose and fell, kings clashed for thrones, and faith ruled men's lives with an iron grip. Yet, beneath the surface of history, the kind sung by bards and recorded by scribes, there lingered shadows. Hidden corridors, sealed chambers, and secrets too dangerous for daylight. It is within this forgotten layer of the 1400s that our story begins. At the heart of a once thriving medieval city, there lies a ruin few dare to speak of. The stone arches, blackened by centuries of smoke and decay, hide beneath a collapsed district where fire once raged. Generations later, it is no more than a hushed legend, the Labyrinth of Silence, they call it. Some say it was a prison for heretics. Others whisper of a library where forbidden knowledge was locked away. But the truth, rare, elusive, and unsettling, has always remained hidden. On a storm-swept night, a lone traveler approaches. His cloak, heavy with mud, drapes against the moss-slick stones. His boots crunch on shards of rubble as he descends. Through an arch barely visible in the gloom, a lantern sways in his gloved hand, casting flickers of light across carved symbols, long eroded but not forgotten. He is no common wanderer. His purpose is deliberate, his steps measured. For months he has followed rumors traced through crumbling parish records, fragments of letters buried in abbeys, and warnings left in the margins of monastic texts. All pointed to this place. The labyrinth was real, and tonight he would confirm. It inside. The air is damp, laced with the bitter scent of mold and decay. Broken beams sag across the entrance, and heaps of splintered wood cover the ground. Once this may have been a hall of learning or worship. Now it is little more than a tomb of ash and rot. Yet the traveler does not turn back. Instead, he begins. His descent, the stairs spiral downward, carved directly into stone, their edges worn from centuries of forgotten footsteps. His lantern reveals alcoves filled with collapsed jars, fragments of parchment turned to dust, and the skulls of rodents that once scurried freely. The deeper he goes, the more oppressive the silence becomes. It is not the silence of an abandoned place, but rather the silence of something waiting. At the foot of the staircase lies a vast chamber. The traveler pauses, his lantern trembling slightly in his grasp. The ceiling arches high above, streaked with soot and dripping with moisture. Scattered across the floor are relics of a bygone age, helmets dented from war, manuscripts sealed shut by melted wax, and what appear to be remnants of altars, their stone cracked but not destroyed. He kneels beside a fragment of parchment half buried in dust. With care, he brushes it free, revealing faded ink written in Latin. The words are jagged, frantic warnings, perhaps confessions. They speak of keepers of shadows, men chosen to guard something beneath the city. Their task was eternal, their names erased from every chronicle to ensure secrecy. The traveler's brow furrows. The legends had spoken of keepers, but to see mention of them here, written by hands that lived in the old 1400s, confirms far more than he expected. His pulse quickens, for this is no longer a myth. And then a sound, a faint echo of stone shifting, as though a weight had moved in the darkness beyond the chamber. The traveler lifts his lantern, its circle of light stretching to reveal archways leading deeper into the labyrinth. The air grows colder, and the silence heavier, pressing against his ears like unseen hands. One archway in particular draws him. It is framed with carvings worn, yes, but still clear enough to reveal symbols unlike any common medieval mark. Spirals interlock with crosses, and geometric shapes extend into what almost appears to be a language of their own. He traces them with his finger, feeling the grooves etched by craftsmen 5 centuries before. The archway opens onto a staircase descending into even greater darkness. The steps are narrow, uneven, as if deliberately made treacherous. The traveler steadies himself lantern high, and begins to descend. Each step echoes like a drumbeat, swallowed by the cavernous depths. Halfway down, his lantern flickers. He freezes. The flame wavers not from lack of oil, but from a sudden gust of wind, as if the labyrinth itself had exhaled. Somewhere in the darkness below, there is movement, a scurrying, a footstep. He cannot tell, and yet he presses forward. The staircase empties into a corridor lined with niches. In some, he finds skeletal remains, bones clothed in tattered robes, skulls leaning against stone walls. In others, objects are stacked, clay jars sealed with wax, wooden boxes bound by rusted iron. He dares not open them. The corridor twists and turns until, at last, it ends in a massive doorway. Unlike the rest of the ruin, this door remains intact. Iron-bound, reinforced, and impossibly preserved, it looms in the shadows like a sentinel. Across its surface are more symbols, these carved with precision and purpose. The traveler raises his lantern close, scanning the surface. His eyes widen. These markings are not simply warnings. They are instructions, a message left for those who would dare to enter, a choice written in stone. His breath quickens. Centuries of secrecy, of erased history, of whispered warnings, all had led to this. Beyond this door lies the truth, a truth so carefully hidden that only the most desperate or the most reckless would dare to seek it. He places his hand upon the cold iron. It is warmer than it should be, as though something on the other side is alive. The traveler does not hesitate. He pushes. The groan of metal reverberates through the chamber, echoing up the staircase and into the labyrinth above. Dust rains from the ceiling. The hinges creak and shudder. The door begins to move. The year was the old 1600s, an age of secrets, whispered alliances, and hidden chambers beneath the cities and castles of Europe. While kings and noblemen plotted their wars above ground, another world thrived in the darkness below, a world untouched by sunlight, where whispers lingered longer than footsteps, and where walls remembered crimes better left forgotten. It was in this world of shadow and silence that Elias Thorncroft, a man of curious mind and restless spirit, made his descent into what would become the most dangerous discovery of his life. Elias was not a soldier nor a noble, but a scholar and seeker of truths. To him, the dusty tomes of forgotten libraries were treasure chests, and whispers of forbidden knowledge were irresistible invitations. He had heard rumors of an ancient catacomb sealed since the late 1500s, hidden beneath the crumbling ruins of a monastery burned during the Wars of Faith. The whispers said that the monks were not mere holy men, but guardians of an order that possessed secrets capable of reshaping kingdoms. They spoke of chambers carved deep into the rock, where names of the powerful were recorded not in honor, but in blood, where knowledge forbidden by both church and crown was hidden away. Most dismissed it as a tale for frightening children, but Elias did not. And so, lantern in hand, with cloak drawn tightly around him, he descended the broken stairway into the earth, determined to see if the rumors were true. The air grew colder with each step. The flickering light of his lantern painted shadows that danced like specters along the carved stone walls. Dust lay thick upon the ground, undisturbed for centuries, save for the occasional scatter of rat bones. Each step echoed as if the walls themselves were listening. Elias paused often, his ears straining against the silence. Yet silence itself can scream, and in that suffocating stillness, it seemed to shout warnings. At the base of the stair he entered a great archway, its keystone etched with words nearly faded into nothingness. He brushed the grime away and revealed Latin letters. Sub umbra veritas ladet. Beneath the shadow, truth lies hidden. The chamber beyond was vast, half collapsed, yet still holding the solemn weight of history. Broken furniture shattered. Clay jars, rusted weapons, and scraps of parchment littered the floor. Among them lay bones, not scattered haphazardly, but arranged, as though placed there with intention. Elias knelt and examined a skull, its surface marked with strange symbols carved after death. These were not mere burials. They were warnings. He raised his lantern higher and glimpsed stairways leading deeper, one crumbling, the other intact. As he moved forward, his boots crunching on centuries of debris, he felt the pull of something unseen, as though the walls themselves urged him deeper. It was then that he heard it, a whisper, faint as a sigh. He froze. His rational mind told him it was nothing more than wind through cracks in the stone. Yet the whisper carried weight, intent, as though words once spoken centuries ago had been trapped within the walls, released now by the intrusion of his lantern's flame. He strained to listen. The whisper returned, clearer this time. A name. His name. Elias. The lantern trembled in his grip, but he pressed on. Through the ruined hall, he found a narrow passage leading to a heavy iron door, its surface blackened but unbroken. The door bore no handle, only an inscription engraved deep, Custos Veritatis, keeper of the truth. For hours, Elias searched the surrounding ruins until at last he uncovered a mechanism hidden within the wall, a rusted lever that resisted. His strength but eventually yielded with a groan that echoed through the catacombs like a scream. The iron door shuddered, and with the grinding protest of stone against stone, it swung open. The chamber beyond was like a tomb of kings, yet no royalty had been buried there. Stone tablets lined the walls, each carved with names and dates. The air was thick with dust, and yet the names seemed strangely preserved, as though untouched by time. Elias read them one by one, and his heart quickened. These were not monks nor peasants. They were lords, generals, scholars, men and women of high standing, all listed as if recorded in secret death. Many were known in history to have vanished without explanation during the 1600s. This was no ordinary burial place. It was a ledger of silence, a record of those erased from the living world by an order powerful enough to bury truth itself. And there, at the far end, upon a pedestal of stone, lay a map, not on parchment, but carved into a tablet of black slate streaked with veins of gold. Strange symbols surrounded it, spirals and eyes, suns eclipsed by moons. The map pointed deeper into the catacombs, toward something hidden in the heart of the earth. As Elias studied the markings, he felt a presence. Turning swiftly, lantern raised, he saw movement in the shadows. A figure cloaked in black, watching, silently from the archway. The figure spoke in a voice like gravel. "You should not be here."